Heyo, Jay Barino here, and welcome back. We got some more True Story of Arkain hot off the press. Shar has really been cranking these out. And hey, did you watch my Unhinged Theories video that I released the day before this one? I had fun making that. Alright, so we got an interlude and then Act 9, Chapter 8. So let's watch Threads of Fate. I've already watched this because Shar releases the interludes on his YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to, as well if you want to get early access to watching these when they are released. So I know what's going to happen, but we could talk about it when it's over. Far from the battle between the Bloodstone Dwarves and the end of the demonic invasion, Rahandir Drakeskull returns to the Dead Mountain after having brought the twin children of the dead Queen Renova to a safe place. And not having been able to contact Eredon for a while, he is eager to learn what has occurred in his absence. Uh-oh. Unaware of the fall of the Bone Lords in Salria. For now. Master, you've returned. How are the kids? It took some time to find a somewhat safe place for them, far from suspicious eyes. I left Lorraine with them for the time being. What's going on here? I've tried to contact the Master for quite some time, but he hasn't answered my calls. That's why I wanted to talk to you. You should brace yourself, Master. Eredon's temper has become... well... Temper? The Master? Don't be ridiculous, dwarf. The Bone Lords have lost to the Orcs in Salria. What? We don't know the details, but it's true. The legions accompanying the Bone Lords were utterly crushed. Tremolon and Celier have fallen. Their corpses have been utterly destroyed. Completely destroyed. My boy Tremolon. Haran Tel'Kozor and Sir Edoras could barely escape. I hear it took quite some time for the Nerubian to be put back together. And the Bone Lords? No one's heard of them. The Scarrick have fallen unusually silent. They too seem to be puzzled as to what's happened. Their cathedrals are utterly quiet. Not a single sermon to be heard. 'Tis worrisome, Master. Tepid pause. And the Master? He's not taking it too well. I think the absence of most of the high-ranking servants does not help the situation either. I must speak with him at once. We'll talk later, Morden. Morden would be one of the undead that cares about those kids, you know? He's like asking about them and stuff. Master? Master. What has happened to the Bone Lords? How is it possible that they've lost? Tepid pause. Bahrazal has betrayed our agreement. There's no way this pathetic little orc could have done this without his help, either his tutelage or maybe even his power. Has she destroyed the Bone Lords? If only. What she's done, it goes beyond such minor offenses. It's unfortunate that Tremolon has fallen and was utterly destroyed by the Orc Warlock. He served me long and well, yet considering that some orcs are familiar with necromancy, it comes as no surprise. The death of this cleave hand you raised is a shame, but of little importance in the grand picture. What that foolish girl did to the Bone Lords, however... what has she done? Tepid pause. The Bone Lords are no more. That's all that matters. How is this possible? One of Bahrazal's unsavory methods. The details are irrelevant. Tepid pause. As you say, my master. What needs to be done, then? Are we going to leave the Orcs be? For the time being, I will carefully consider how to proceed. However, Bahrazal is a fool if he believes that I would just let this pass. What are your orders? Bahrazal and his apprentice Gardon approach the lands of the demons. They want to take the fortress that guards the entrance and use it to launch their own invasion against the demons. I will humble Bahrazal for his insolence. As soon as his apprentice has taken over the fortress, the undead will turn on him. Bloodclaw and all others who follow Bahrazal's teaching shall be slaughtered. That will force the humans to retreat to their realms. With all due respect, Master, such drastic action will only fracture the human nations, weakening them. I would rather have a dozen petty and disunited kingdoms than only one ruled by someone who is under the influence of that wretch, Bahrazal. In the long run, it would mean that the humans will be overwhelmed, either by the demons or any other outside threat. Are you certain this is a wise decision to make? I am. Inform your servant Saphira that she must act when I give the order. What if we let him have the fortress and just withdraw our forces afterwards? Bloodclaw lacks the manpower to invade the realms of the demons without the numbers of the undead, even if all people of Carol and Rengar pledge their support to him. The decision has been made, Rahandir. Do as you're told. Tepid pause. You question my decision? No, I will do as you ask. Good. I knew I could count on you, Rahandir. Inform the Skerrick that the brothers Arnos and Dornos are taking the places of the Bone Lords as leaders of the Nexus. As they already fulfilled that role prior to the return of the Bone Lords, this should cause no issues. As you wish, sir. I must take my leave of you now. There's some unfinished business I need to take care of. Feel free to return to your duties once you've informed Saphira and the Skerrick. Tepid pause. This is wrong. Killing the ones that ended the invasion. I really hope the Master knows what he's doing, but I'm no longer convinced. Ooh! Our boy Rahandir coming in hot! We've just received word from our messenger. The remaining nobles of Rengar who have not joined Bloodclaw should arrive in the morning. Duke Redfist has made it clear that he is no longer willing to waste any more time. His forces are already on the move. We'll wait until early morning, no longer. Then we'll continue our march. I'm not willing to waste any more time. Inform the troops. Nobody liking wasting any time in Arkain, you know? Yes, General. We've already wasted too much time. How about not wasting any time at all here in Salria? Brian, you're the last face I want to see right now. Luckily, I can hardly see it at all. What have I done to deserve such hostility from you, Aveen? Do you even have to ask? I'm here to save you from yourself, Aveen. There's no need for such a demeanor. Speak. This is a fool's errand and you know it. You and the others have been wasted here in Salria. Take your troops and take them north. Join Gardon instead of throwing your life away for a lost kingdom. Tepid pause. You're smarter than this, Aveen. Be with your Thero instead of... You have no right to use that word, Brian. I will not be swayed by you. You just want Gardon to do your bidding and use him against his own family. You made him kill his uncle as well as several other members of our family. So she's related to them somehow? He made that decision himself, Aveen. I had no hand in it. You may have not told him to do it, but who taught him? Whose teachings made him what he is now? Reynold and Gardon met in private. Reynold offered an olive branch. All that my Thero had to do was get rid of you, as well as others who corrupted him. They met? I had no idea. Yes, and if you had not been around Gardon, then I'm sure Reynold would have not demanded as much. You were the reason why he thought he had to root out everything that he deemed evil around my Thero. You cannot seriously believe that. You cannot blame me for his death. It was Gardon that struck him down, because he saw no other choice. I know all too well how he felt afterwards. I would have preferred if things were different, but there was little room for it. It was the machinations of the Emperor, not mine, that turned them against each other. I arrived to help Gardon, not to harm him or his family. And yet your arrival only made things worse. Reynold feared for Gardon's soul back when you were his tutor, and your return made him do so again. He tried to protect Gardon. From you. I mean, not really. Gardon needs no protection from me. Unlike his uncle, I have not tried to kill him. The Emperor gave me a mission, Brian. I will take Salria from the Orcs and make it a protectorate of the Empire, with me as its protector. Then I will negotiate between Gardon and the Emperor. I will mend the wounds and end their conflict to restore our family. Good luck. The Emperor's not himself, Aveen. You will fail. Is that what you told Gardon? Is that why he went to murder his own family? I told him the truth. The same truth I'm telling you now. I have no interest in destroying your family. I just wish to make things right. Right for who? Yourself? My Thero? Don't make me laugh, Brian. I've seen the magic that the Orc leader uses. The same magic you have taught him. You're playing a game that goes beyond helping the family. I don't know what game you're playing yet, But I see that whatever your interests are, they're your own, not those of my Thero. You want revenge for your exile. My exile? There was no... The Emperor told me everything. I know that you were banished for your sinister plots to take over the Empire, but he foiled your deceptive plans, and now you use my Thero to destroy your family as revenge. Our family as revenge. Listen carefully, Brian. We're done here. I will destroy your Orc servitors. Then I will bring my Thero and the Emperor together to reconcile, and you will not stop me. I never tried to. I said we're done here, Brian. The future protector of Saria has more important matters to attend to than listen to the pleading of failed conspirators. Tepid pause. As stubborn as her brother. If she were to reunite with Gardon, she would cause immense damage when trying to actually get him into contact with the Emperor. They might both die, or worse. Tepid pause. I'm sorry, Gardon, but at least the next of your family members will not die by your own hand. Oof. Sigh. So, sounding like Brian's gonna assassinate Aveen because he lost the game, as it were, to sway Aveen. But let's be honest, these Imperial regiments, they're fodder, okay? I guess we got a little more insight. I think we always kind of knew Aveen was related to Gardon in some way. She's definitely part of the royal family. Brian saying that she's stubborn like her brother implies that they're siblings or step-siblings, though it's still not 100% clear, but the implication is that they are siblings. And she refers to the Emperor as the Emperor and not her half-brother, because Gardon and the Emperor are step-siblings, which implies that she is also part of that. Though, again, it's not super clear. Gardon refers to the Emperor as well and not his brother. I'm not so sure, but it seems that Gardon does actually care about Aveen, so inevitably, when this plot point comes call due, whenever that might be, and he finds out that Brian killed his supposed sister... Again, I'm, like, really jumping ahead here, but I think the implication is Brian's gonna assassinate her because he can't have her messing with Gardon because Brian knows that the Emperor is actually Tregok the Dark One. So, again, it's just he's kind of between a rock and a hard place. But that's gonna fracture the relationship between Brian and Gardon. And Gardon's, he's real sad these days. He's drinking a lot, so it's not gonna go over so well. Anyway, mission time. King of the Dead. Following the meeting with Rahandir, Eredon has teleported himself into the depths of a mountain, far from any undead force and far from any army of the living. The Watcher had to deal with this matter alone. The fate of the Bone Lords had troubled him greatly, for it implied that it was in fact possible for him to lose control of his own servants. Something that had never happened before. This knowledge had to remain hidden. It would either die with the last of the Bone Lords, or be known only to Eredon and the Bone Lords, after they had been restored. So he's got to deal with them. I can sense it. The Bone Lords are nearby. Or what's left of them, anyway. I have no time to waste. Roktha will either return to the fold so that I may undo whatever twisted magic Bahrazel's student has used on him, or meet his end. He's too dangerous to be left to his own devices. Bahrazel. If I wasn't above such things, I would gladly have torn him into a million pieces for what he did, and his shady little apprentices along with him. But I will not let him have the satisfaction of having caused me the sort of trouble that would throw me off balance. I admit, however, that it will be satisfying to watch his little intrigues fall apart when his apprentice Gardon meets his end. If he tries to warn him, I will act even sooner. Perhaps I should use the Undead Iron Fist to invade Saria. Let one apprentice kill the other. Yes. And once Bahrazel has been dealt with, Tregok is next. Even if I have to drown the entire continent with undead, balance will be restored. But first I must deal with the renegade, Rogthil. Ooh, Lord of the Scarab, fine Rogthil. Eredon must survive. I have not used Eredon for a long time. New arcane lore has been added. From the perspective of a Ras scholar of the Zur Nexus, new lore just dropped. Eredon has all new items. Oh, sick. I was waiting to know what these artifacts were for, and it's just because Eredon is now flippin' insanely powerful. Let's read our lore. The Masters decree that all knowledge connected to the Bone Lords following the events of Insaria be contained, and yet, due to the responsibilities of the Xur Nexus, this knowledge must be written down and cannot be ignored even if it ends up being hidden in the depths of our libraries. Only few who participated in the Battle of Insaria know what happened to the Bone Lords, and their numbers are dwindling. It would appear as if the leader of the Orcs and their allies, a woman by the name of Mari, has managed to merge the 3 Bone Lords into one, causing them to lose their minds and abandon the battlefield. She turned him into the Joker. Texts in our library suggest that shadow creatures in the days of the Four used to merge to increase their power. If that is the case, then the knowledge here must come from none other than Barazal himself, which comes to little surprise given the suspicions that Amari is his student. For the shadows back then, it increased their power at the cost of taking their personality and their memories from them. It also served to deform them, turning them into less humanoid beings than they were before. Barazal must have learned whom the Master had sent and told Amari how to react using knowledge provided by Crom. I doubt that I will write any more entries. The Master will not approve of this, even if it is hidden in the Xur archives, and yet it must be written down to be preserved for the future. As the Ross would do. Our poor boy Tremolon, I get the impression that they said the Orc Warlock killed him, which means Zermac killed Tremolon. Zermac probably preparing to finalize his conflict with Phoenix Regiment General, who is like the Phoenix who can be reborn. So he's figured out ways to kill things that are technically immortal or can come back to life. So he used that against the Undead. That's how I interpreted that, at least. Following the failure of the Undead, Insaria, Rockthil has gone missing. Being the last of the Bone Lords and now no longer under Eredon's control, he is a dangerous being for all who encounter him. Eredon must constrain his former student, either by force or through diplomacy. Diplomacy. Given that Rockthil has been merged with the other 2 Bone Lords, it is unlikely, however, that he has any stable mental state, and even less likely for him to cooperate. That rhymes. Okay. Sign of Life was once created by some of the most powerful archmages in the kingdom in an attempt to destroy the demons once and for all. However, they failed and the artifact was destroyed. Now Eredon has put it back together and reshaped it to fit his own designs. Only few knew that this ring was once used to belong to Zindrak of the Demon God. After killing Zindrak, Eredon took his ring and kept it in his vaults to make sure that his power would never fall into the hands of the demons again. This is cool. These 2 he's already had. Chain of Death. When the gods still wandered the world of Arkain, this scepter was worn by the now dead god of death. It used to have the power to not only reanimate the dead, but bring them back to life as they had never died in the first place. However, it has lost much of its power after the death of its creator and owner. Nevertheless, it still holds enormous power. Flippin' Mask of Illusions. Once belonged to Tregok the Dark One, who had mastered the art of disguise, along with his darker powers. The mask was said to possess the power that would allow the wearer to change himself into any other being and still use its powers. Tregok had stopped using it, however, since he did not need to do that. The mask was lost after the 4 had fallen. Heck yeah! I'm glad that these artifacts... that seemed like a loose plot thread that was never really resolved. Now we see Eredon it's just straight up power for him. I thought Eredon was like sneaking around or something. Okay, so these are hotkeyed.
Indeed.
Okay, all right, let's go. Let's save as well. It's a micro mission, but he seems very powerful. Pathetic servants of a weak fire creature. You and your master are insignificant. I will crush you like the insects that you are. Or that you can stun me. You can chain stun me as well. That's something that they could do. Okay, cool. We got an elite spirit legionnaire.
That sounds logical. A fateful choice.
It's been a long time since we've used Eredon. I think the last time we saw him on the battlefield, we couldn't even use him, was in,
Is there something?
what was the... I don't remember. To kill the Blood Drinker Legion, if I remember correctly. I just want to use his spells, but he's looking good. He's got a lot of stuff. Okay, okay. I'm glad that those abilities are hotkeyed out. I don't have to click the ability. What was it? Bloodbath was the name of it? And you couldn't even control him. He just kind of sits there. In the aftermath of the lore conflict. Uh-oh, salamanders. Well, we can... Oh, too powerful to curse. I see how it is. Go ahead and zap him. I like how much mana he has now. It's really, really nice. Dark Ritual, that's fine. He's doing fine. These are on long cooldowns. Yeah, I can't mark those for more. Yeah, it's funny how, like, Brian and Eredon are, like, these ancient deities, but they went through these things that made them very weak, and now, after pretty much the entirety of this conflict, they're coming back to their full power, which is interesting. Like, Eridon needed these... he needed these artifacts to become more powerful. Oh, no, not these things. Give me some mana, please. Why does everything stun? I hate it. Why does everything stun? Stop it. I need a Legionnaire, please. There it is. These are the ones that split. Yeah, I can't say I love that he like a lot of these enemies stun constantly. Go ahead and Mirage again. Oh yeah, the illusions deal damage too. That's solid. He's just on a long, like, most of his abilities are on a pretty long cooldown. I don't know if I'm going the right way either.
That sounds logical. Yes, right away. Indeed.
Small guys? We can engage small guys. I wonder why you creatures even bother mining gold. You do not use it, and neither does your master. It means little in the grand scheme, and now you die. Marinojan minions, perhaps? Progdaris? Perhaps a Marinojan minion? That would be strange. I don't know, though. Yeah, how do you like getting stunned, you asshole? Just kill this thing. I hate him. I skipped several pathways, didn't I? There was one back here, too.
Yes, right away.
Unless this is all connected.
Is there something?
Look out, look out. Chain of Death is Y. Just blast this guy. Again, he can stun us. Okay. We've taken quite a lot of damage, actually. I don't think I have a way to destroy mushrooms. Do I want to backtrack real quick? I think I'm going the correct way, so we've got to come all the way back here real quick. I'll just make a cut as we walk.
Indeed.
Okay, let's check down here real quick.
Indeed.
His health not looking too good. I figure I'll take this opportunity to let him get some of his health back, I suppose. Oh, and these skeletons are permanent. I forgot about that. Very, very good. Yeah, let's just keep stunning the big ones, cause them to split. Let's disintegrate again. We just want to get... I wonder if we can get multiple Spirit Legionnaires, or if the cooldown on them is the same. Just keep using your heal as well.
Yes, right away.
Where the heck am I going? Uh-oh. Stun, boys. I don't like the stun, boys. Might as well just use Mirage a lot, too. I wonder, too, if the idea here, we saw at the very end of the second Undead book, which I recently studied closely for my lore video, or my theories video. Oh, it was just a rune. Which I studied closely for my theories video. Tregok accuses Eridon of basically trying to steal the other four's powers. Which I suppose is fitting here, because, like, he has the Demon God's Ring. He has the Dark One's Mask. Scepter of Death from the old God of Death. Like, it's basically him trying to just consolidate the power of the rest. Whereas he says he just wants balance, but then he's accused of actually wanting to be the one and only remaining deity on the continent.
My talents are yours.
And this kind of supports that, the fact that he's collected the artifacts of the others just so that they could be his.
A fateful choice.
So much fire, so unbalanced. This place needs more ice. Wait, what? Yo! What? Okay, these aren't mine to use, but holy crap. We're gonna have to fight Progdaris again, aren't we? Progdaris is an interesting character as well. Like, he's a meme character for the most part, and he just keeps dying, and you're like, oh, poor guy. But at the same time, like, what's up with him, you know? I'm glad I came down here, because, you know, what a interesting little place.
That sounds logical.
Okay, heal me, and let's head back down here.
Yes, right away.
Okay, we're back. Just making shortcuts here as we're...
Yes, right away. That sounds logical.
Wait, hang on, we're gonna blizzard these. They're small. Very nice. Chain of Death, these ones in the back. Or Mirage first. Gotta remember these hotkeys. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes, right away.
Okay, delightful. Go ahead and heal my guys, even though they're actually all pretty good. Can I... Oh, I want to see if I can get another Revenant out. You look like it could be one of Tragok's creations, but you're not. You're not, but that doesn't mean I will let you stand in my way, sludge. Dude, don't talk to the sludges. I don't think they can understand you, man. Yes, you can have multiples of these, too. This is cool. It actually feels like we're using Eridon at the peak of his power.
That sounds logical.
I don't think I have a Dispel. Oh, I do have a Dispel.
I've been thinking. A fateful choice.
More of these. More of these. These are immune to magic, so not much we can do there. We just gotta waste them. Go ahead and gobble up a skeleton, please. Got these big boys in the back, too. Go ahead and blast them. Heal me. Ooh, these didn't split. That's handy. I guess the ones that throw rocks do not split. There's no way we're not going to find and kill Progdaris again, right? It seems like some of these pathways that are dead ends are runes, which is good. I mean, it's nice to stay topped up, because Eridon is not invincible. But it is cool to see... some of these certain units, well, specifically Eridon, actually being flippin' powerful. I don't know if you know, in the original Bloodbath, and it might be the same in the true story, if the enemy breaks through and kills Eridon, he just goes ballistic and wins the mission anyway.
That sounds logical. Indeed.
And I'm gonna assume Brian cannot do that. But, again, in theory, Brian could do that, if he was... more powerful, but he's been... oh, I didn't mean to dispel. I meant to blizzard. At some point in the past, all the, I call them demigods, could have done something like that.
My talents are yours. A fateful choice.
Who did I leave behind? Oh, we found him. We're gonna have to fight him, aren't we? Master, I knew you would come. Rogthil. I have failed you, haven't I? Your failure in Saria is not the reason why I am here. Your current state is not your fault. You were tricked by Barazel and his impertinent orc devil. I'm here to bring you home. Don't talk about Amari that way. How dare you? Home? To the Dead Mountain? Or death? We will find a way to cure you of this state. The merging of 3 different minds into one has caused a lot of damage to your mind. But we will find a way to fix it. Tepid pause. I see the fire, Master. Flesh burning in the sun. The entire continent aflame with naught but bones remaining. Your crusade is over, Rogthil. For now we must focus on fixing what was broken. I hear the voices of 1,000 living as they die in agony. I see them with my own eyes. The last Arcanians. Tepid pause. The madness has left my mind. For now. I see everything so much clearer now. It wasn't a vision of the future that we Bone Lords saw. It was an event of the past that we held forgotten. The doctrine of the Scarab was never our own. It was theirs. We were merely adopting it, thinking our memories were not memories, but the fate of Arkain's future. Mountains of bones. Our memories of the slaughter of our own kin at your command. Your madness has destroyed your mind, my former student. I never ordered you to slaughter any Arcanians. Their deaths were the result of the war between the gods. Yes, mostly. But you found survivors. You and your siblings. We were there, ordered to kill them after the war was over. You made us slay our kin because you said that there was no place for Arcanians in the New World. Except in your ranks. For you, they were just more corpses for your armies. Ooh. Hot lore? You and your siblings weren't confused. All of you wanted to destroy the legacy of the gods, including the Arcanians, to replace it with your own. The screams. I can no longer hear your voice in my head, Master. You no longer silence their screams in my head. We committed genocide against our own kind while bound to your will. Everything I have done, everything I have ever done served the balance of Arkain. I never ordered you to kill any Arcanians. There was no reason for such a thing. Even if there had been any survivors, it would not have been enough to repopulate Arkain. Your kind was already dying. There was no genocide. No genocide? You killed the remaining gods. You killed the Arcanians. You even killed your own siblings. You're the greatest mass murderer in the history of Arkain, Master. You tricked Tragok into stealing the creations of the others and then went to Zindrak and Barazel, telling them about his misdeeds. You started the war by playing both sides against each other. You were behind the entire thing. You stabbed Zindrak in the back and killed Barazel in the process. You wanted Arkain for yourself. Nonsense. Tragok acted out of his own volition. I had nothing to do with it. I wanted Zindrak and Barazel to avoid further harm before it could get out of hand. Turning on Zindrak and Barazel afterwards served no purpose other than restoring the balance. With only 3 members, there could be no 4. And who gets to decide what this balance is? You. Only you. There's no code, no ancient text, no mandate of the gods, nothing. There's no greater will or power you serve. This balance was always your invention, and it was your own pettiness that made you hunt mortal necromancers for millennia. You underestimated the damage you would suffer when the others died. In your hubris, you thought you wouldn't sustain any lasting damage. You yourself forgot who you were. You started to believe your own lies. Your intrigues were so intricate that you yourself believed them as soon as you no longer remembered that you orchestrated them. Now that we are one, free of your will and our minds, and memories combined into one, our memories and minds have been able to piece everything back together. After all this time, there's clarity. Tepid pause. I see that the damage that this cursed Orcling has made you go through has completely deformed your memories. Perhaps you cannot be saved. Saved? Like you did this world? The 4 were not the saviors of this world. It would have survived without them. They were conquerors. Even if you were not deranged right now, you lack understanding of these things. This world would have been utterly destroyed by the war between the gods if it was not for us. We, born of the remains of the fallen gods, were the only chance at survival that this world had. It wasn't selfishness. It was the only option. Your own deceit has fooled you, my master. I will not strike you down, Rockthil. Despite your insolence, you can still be useful to me. You cannot control me. Perhaps, but I can cage you. I can rip your mind and soul apart into 3 pieces. I can rebuild the Bone Lords from scratch. And I shall. Defeat Rockthil. Eridon must survive. Let's go. Okay, we can't get any of our dudes back. Mirage first. Quick save, by the way. These guys can give us what we need, though. He's probably very powerful. Best I can do is just blast him every so often. Is one of these real, or are they all real? This is what I do not know. Everything I have is on cooldown. Everything I have is on cooldown. I can blast him with this. That is a... Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is the real one. He also has... Yeah, I see. The reign of the 4 is over. The reign of bones shall begin. I don't know if I'm gonna win this. He deserves to win, honestly. Dude knows what... He knows what he wants. Okay, you win. I need to be killing his minions first. I think that's the thing. We need to be focus firing the minions so that I can get more skeletons. Dude. I think the key here is that Eridon isn't, like, even purposefully lying. He just doesn't know, like, anymore. Like, when he got blasted by his own misdeeds, like he sacrificed his brothers, or he betrayed them, like, he doesn't even remember what happened anymore. But we got a lot of interesting revelations here. I think it's this one. Again, I'm just gonna focus fire these things so I can get more skeletons. Okay, pick this up. Oh, they don't give me skeletons, it would seem. Rain of Bones shall begin, etc., etc. I guess it makes sense that I can't just get skeletons from other skeletons, right? Don't stand in those. He's out of mana. I'm not looking too hot myself. Let's see if we can grab this real quick. I don't... Oh, did he get hit? I think so. Don't stand in the... Okay. Oh. Blast him. Just keep stunning him with this guy. Let's quick save. I feel like I'm in a good spot. I don't think we would be expected to have a bunch of extra skeletons at this point. Just keep blasting him with this. Don't stand in those.
Yes, right away. Burn.
I don't see any runes left. Stun him.
Sounds logical.
Dude, you're not going to get me with that spin move, dude.
Taste this.
Taste this. Mirage.
Is there something?
But let him hit one of the mirages instead. Okay.
Yes, right away. A fateful choice.
Oh, yes. Take him out. He's not summoning more minions, so I think we should be good. Don't stand in that. Heal me. I mean, that doesn't do much. That's not very much of a self-heal, is it? Not much time to move out of those, is there?
Indeed.
Learning about how the 4 all together basically said we're going to kill any of the remaining Arcanians is very interesting to me as well. Yeah, we definitely got him. I mean, I guess hit him with this. Yeah, I was waiting for him to summon more minions, but... Thanks, Mask of Illusions. I will not bend the knee again. You shall. Arg! You are mine, Rogthil. How can you use the mask that Tregok once gifted to you and call him your foe? This mask was no gift. Tregok lost it when he fell. He'd never gift anyone anything, selfish being that he is. You were all selfish. Still, the false and deformed memories. It is a shame what happened to you. The Orcs will pay for this in due time. Arg. Impossible. My soul and mind are the souls and minds of 3 Arcanians. A part of me wanted to return to you, but I am now too dangerous to you, and I know too much. Yes, I cannot be caged. I cannot be controlled, neither by you nor anyone else. Even with your immense powers, you cannot contain me anymore. The essence of the Arcanians, the power of the gods you have slain, protects me. Mark my words, my former master. The Scarab may no longer be mine, but I will build a new army of bones, and I will march it against you, against Bahrazel, against Tregok, against anyone anywhere. They will be naught but bones! See, he's the Joker, I told you. Crazy laugh. Tepid pause. He's deranged, but I can no longer feel his presence. He must have gone far. I wonder, was he just mad, or did someone help? Bahrazel or Tregok, maybe. But the possibility that parts of his insane talk were true must be considered, at least, despite his madness. Did we really want power? Was the balance just an act? An invention? It seems unlikely. Tepid pause. Oh! Oh, yes. The truth revealed to Eredon. He's mad. A lot to talk about, man. Lot to talk about. I guess going back to the interlude, we've got Rahandir clearly in a position now to want to not follow Eredon's commands because he's starting to see through the fact that it's not some... I mean, similar to what Rogthil was talking about. It's not like really some divine mandate. It's just something that Eredon made up. And he just is following that true neutral grind set where it doesn't really matter who you are. You deserve a chance to not be completely slaughtered, and that's what Eredon's kind of gone for, which in and itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but in many of the ways that Eredon goes about it, again, he's just a huge control freak. And I think the thing with the Bone Lords that's really interesting, or the thing that that was revealed here, was that, number one, the 4 that rose out of the dead gods were equally selfish. They weren't like benevolent. They all wanted power, and they worked together to destroy the remaining Arcanians, which I think is also very interesting, because we were led to believe that all the Arcanians died off of some unknown plague, but in reality, the ones that survived were killed anyway by the 4 because they wanted the world for themselves. And Eredon had the Bone Lords do it for him, and that's where the crusade, the Skeleton Crusade started, is they took that and are applying it to the present, when in reality it was their mandate in the past, which was to kill the rest of the Arcanians. And then what also makes this interesting is Eredon doesn't even remember that he did that. So I guess my question now is, like, yes, Eredon is a megalomaniac. He's a control freak in the present day for this balance, which, again, we can kind of review as, like, is that necessarily a bad thing if he makes sure that all the races don't kill themselves completely, kill each other completely? I mean, yeah, mostly, because, again, how he goes about it leads to just a lot of death. Hard to know what is really the worst outcome in that case. But if he is just a different person, like, if you lose all your memories and you're not, and they like, are you still even you anymore? So, like, if he's not that same individual in the past that betrayed his brothers and wanted to become the one true god, I guess, if that's not really even him anymore, then it's hard to kind of judge him against those actions if those memories don't even impact who he is now. I don't know, that's kind of a big tangent, but I think for the sake of this story, we're supposed to assume that, yes, that, like, Eredon is Eredon through all of that. And even though he doesn't remember his past actions, that motivation to be the tip-top, the crazy control freak, that's still him. But it's interesting the fact that he doesn't remember. Like, he has to examine himself and question, like, wait, is this really me? And I think that that's what this mission was all about, and it's setting up Eredon to, I think, sort of peace out. I think he's due for even another defeat, which is probably going to be the nail in the coffin. But he wasn't able to control the Orcs, and the only thing he has left, I feel like, that he's clinging to, because he's lost control of pretty much everything else that he thought he would have control over, is Gardon's pressure into the Demon Lands, and he's tasked Rahandir with sabotaging that. So I think basically, we know Gardon has to live, just based on his existence in the short stories and stuff. So I'm pretty sure Rahandir will follow out the, he'll follow orders, but he's only going to do it to a certain degree. And my expectation is Sir Ferdal is going to eat the bullet, whatever it, and save Vale. So Vale will live. I think she's targeted, but Sir Ferdal is tasked with keeping her alive, so he's going to. I think Merlon is going to die. You had a choice to save him in the original one, but that was only if Edel wasn't corrupted. So we'll see. Man, now I'm spoiling, but so much happened here. Basically, I think Rahandir is not going to go all out in the way that he was instructed to. He's just going to force a retreat from the Iron Fist and, like, only half follow orders, if that makes sense, at the end of the day. So we'll see some characters go down, but I think the big ones will not in the way that Rahandir was instructed to do. That's my guess. And that might be also the final nail in the coffin, as Rahandir realizes that, or as Eredon realizes that even his other minions are choosing to no longer follow him because it's getting very questionable for a while now. But it's been kind of cool. Like, it's nice to see this part of the second Undead book that was never really followed through, and how you get this angle from the Undead, and how they fit into the betrayal of Gardon at the end of the second human book, and, like, where that actually came from. They didn't always plan to betray him, it sounds like. It sounds like it was an impulse of Eredon's because he's mad, which I think it's very interesting. I think originally they were just going to let them retake Islamar and then probably abandon them and maybe destroy the cannon, but they weren't going to just betray them and try and kill them all. The Iron Fist, that is. So I think it's an interesting addition that we now know as well, so that's pretty neat. Okay, well, this was a shorter one, but it was cool to control Eredon with all these items and artifacts that we had collected for him, too. Good stuff. All right, hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for whenever the next one's released. Bye-bye.